Welcome, nicolymoonies. I decided to play through the entire Dragonage franchise here on stream. After finishing my first playthrough of Dragonage Origins, it was time to move on to Dragonage 2. I spent 54 hours with the game and its DLCs, and here are my thoughts. This was my first time playing Dragonage 2. I had already played all the other Dragonage games, and the series had become one of my favorite franchises. Because of that, I was really looking forward to finally trying the one game I hadn't played yet. I noticed a significant improvement in the graphics compared to Dragonage Origins, especially considering the games were released less than 2 years apart. I also really enjoyed how some cutscenes included class-specific movements, such as mages using spells. I found the character creator similar to the one in Dragonage Origins, but here you can only play as a human and you already have a defined backstory. However, you can still choose your gender and class. You can also customize your character's appearance, and your preset will affect how your family looks in the game. You are also able to import a save file from Dragonage Origins with the decisions you made throughout that game. For me, the story here felt simpler and less epic in scale compared to the other games, while it felt more relatable and grounded. I also felt like there were fewer important decisions to make and fewer consequences that affected the world. I liked how easy it was to locate the side quests, and I felt that they were more connected to the main narrative and offered some interesting choices and consequences. The fetch quests were also handled better, because most of the time they were already on my way while completing the main quests. Here, I've also noticed some consequences from the choices I made in the previous game. The exploration is probably the weakest part of the game for me. The biggest issue is that the maps are reused a lot, sometimes with only small changes, like different enemies appearing. Many quests also take place in the same locations. Most of your exploration will happen inside or around Kirkwall. The city itself changes depending on the time of the day. You don't have to wait for time to pass though. When selecting a location on Kirkwall's map, you can choose whether you want to visit during the day or at night. During the day, you will find more NPCs to interact with, while at night, the streets become more dangerous with enemies appearing along the way. Some quests also require you to visit locations at specific times of the day. I like how the dialogue system here uses a wheel with different answers based on 3 personalities: diplomatic, humorous, and direct. Your character develops the personality you use the most throughout the game. The humorous one was my favorite, as I really enjoyed the humor in this game. I also really liked having a voiced protagonist. I think the writing and voice acting are both very good. Another thing I liked was the option to ask my companions opinions during many conversations. I really enjoyed the more fast-paced action combat, while still being able to pause and command your companions. I like how mages use their staffs in melee combat when enemies get too close. I also like that friendly fire can be disabled. The spells also look really good. I felt that the combat here was easier compared to Origins. What I didn't like as much was the potion system, since potions have a cooldown. I also didn't like how after defeating a group of enemies, additional enemy waves would sometimes appear out of nowhere and drop from the sky. I really like the character designs here. There are some really good looking NPCs, especially the elves and Qunari. They have a very unique appearance and stand out compared to humans. The companions here have a friendship and rivalry system. Depending on your decisions and whether you agree or disagree with them, you can max out either friendship or rivalry. This changes your relationship with them, and they even unlock a new skill depending on which path you choose. The downside is that if you try to stay neutral by sometimes agreeing and sometimes disagreeing, the system doesn't really reward that. You can still give gifts to companions, but much less often than in Origins. Some of my favorite companions were Isabella, Mariel, and Varric. One thing I disliked though was that companions barely changed their outfits, and I wish there were more tanky companions available. Romance in this game develops alongside the story and is not based only on your approval level. I pursued a romance with Isabella in my playthrough, and while I enjoyed it, I found that it was a bit short and started quite late in the game. However, this might be more related to her specific romance. I really liked how the game includes a heart icon in the dialogue options to show when you are flirting with a companion. The game deals with many harsh themes and political issues, which I found really interesting. I especially liked the themes of family and found family. I enjoyed how Hawk has a family, feels like a very human character, and grows closer to their companions over the years in the game. The DLCs were more challenging, especially Legacy, which was my favorite. I liked how it expanded on Hawk's backstory, while also setting up elements for the next game. Unlike Dragon Age Origins, I had almost no performance problems with this game. It ran really well overall. I only experienced one crash and two bugs. One where during a dialogue, the screen froze and showed a loading screen, forcing me to restart the game, and another where I couldn't finish a companion quest due to a bug. One thing I wish the game had was a party camp. Unlike Origins, where you had a central place to interact with your companions, here they each have their own homes and you can only manage the inventory of the party members who are currently in your group. If you enjoy story-driven games, especially if you're interested in the Dragon Age universe and lore, I would recommend giving Dragon Age 2 a try. It provides important background for the future games, features a charismatic protagonist that you can customize, and has some great characters, companions, and romances. As long as the repetitive exploration doesn't bother you too much, I think this game is definitely worth experiencing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. You mean the moon to me. Bye bye!